Hey guys, Steven, the Salon Guy here, and today I've got Rory, and I'm doing a really cool haircut. Now, I have to mention that when Rory first came in and sat down, I said, I wanted to show you his before. And I'm looking at his hair and I go, man, this kind of reminds me of almost like a Salon Guy haircut. He's got like a nice shape going on through here. And I said, dude, like, who cut your hair? And he goes, I did, I cut my own hair. I go, what? How did you get this? He goes, watching your video. So dude, thank you, man. Holy crap, man, that's awesome. I mean, and I see people coming in here, I have people come in all the time that travel hours, and usually it's to fix up a bad haircut when people come to me, but I'm impressed, and it's all because of him watching my tutorials, which I can't believe. I'm like blown away. So what we're gonna do is actually gonna be really exciting. So we're gonna keep kind of the disconnected shape in through here, but we're gonna take it relatively tight, and I wanna kind of show you guys how to create a nice tapered, almost like a skin fade disconnection, and really work that into here. I'm going to trim the top a little bit here, but leave a lot of the length. It still needs to be shaped up. Taper it down here as well, work it into here, and really create a nice full shape with a tight fade. So I'm ready to go. Let's get started. All right, guys, so just to break this down, what I'm doing is I'm starting with a number 40 guard. And what I'm gonna do down here is really take it pretty tight, almost like, to skin. And the good thing about these clippers, these are Oster clippers with detachable blades. Each blade basically represents a length, all right? So I like to create a more natural tapered hairline in the back by taking it relatively short. So we're gonna keep working the clippers up the nape area. And it all really depends on how high you want this to go. Now keep in mind, we have to work this into the sides. So, if you bring this up way up here, it might be almost too short to kind of connect into here. So I like to start with the nape area first, and then I'll go into the side area right here, and then start to work this in. So now I'm saying, all right, I got this going in through here. Now I can kind of work around this way, around the edges, and create a nice blend or a nice taper, but also keep it balanced as well. So I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side, and then just to kind of speed things up, I'm going to use different clipper guards to go shorter up into longer. So just follow along with me, and then when I'm done with that, we'll come back and take a look. All right, so I just want to kind of show you guys what I did. As you can see, I did a nice, pretty much almost like a skin fade from here, and I really used like at least 5 or 6 clipper blades to go from here to here, all right, which, as you can see, really created a nice taper. I'm going to go back in now with the wall magic clip right here just to kind of refine any of the tapering, and then I'm going to start to use my scissors to kind of work in the top. All right, so as you can see, we got the nice taper going on in through here, and what we're going to do now is we are going to work into the top now, because I want to take out some of the length in through here. I do want to leave it a bit longer, but we need to do some scissor over comb and start to cut this in and work this in by hand. So I'm just going to spray down the top, and a lot of times when you end up spraying the hair with water, you'll start to see how it reacts, and certain things will kind of jump out at you to show you kind of maybe where you need to blend it, where you need to kind of spend a little more time, shaping and cutting. But I like to start usually with dry hair, and then I work it into, damp hair like this, especially with tighter skin fades and, shorter crop tapers. You can't do this with the hair wet, so you got to start with it dry and then go back in and reshape it like this. So let's talk about this part right in through here. So he has a little bit of like a swirl or calic right in through here, which can be easily tamed if you kind of go with the way the hair grows. And sometimes it's hard for people to see that themselves, but you know, the hair wants to go into a swirl, and that's why it jumps right up. Because the minute you go against how it naturally grows, it's going to start to act up all over the place. So as you can see, we have it nice and tame now because of how I combed it, but you know, the minute you go like this, it starts to kind of, you know, jump up at you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do scissor over comb right into this area, right here, to taper this down nice and tight right through here, and then we're going to work into the length up top here. So I think it's some parts is a little bit long and some parts need to be a little bit more balanced, and that's what I'm going to do now. Is I'm literally just going through the whole haircut and kind of determining what needs to be really worked in from a, you know, head shape perspective, from, you know, just the overall haircut itself, you know, and I've never cut his hair before, but you know, I'm trying to follow a good pattern here, and I'm also trying to cut this so that as his hair grows out, it's got a good shape to it in case he, you know, can't maybe afford to come see me, or you know, he wants to let this stretch out for some time. Like, I want to make sure he's got a good haircut and that it will grow out good, you know, and look good for at least 2 months down the road. So now what I'm doing is I'm working into this top back area right in through here, and I'm literally just going to kind of take horizontal sections, comb everything straight up this way, and I'm going to cut it to this one point right back here. Reason is because I want to make sure that I'm going to be maintaining some of that length working towards the top, but I also don't know how, you know, how his hair reacts. I've never cut his hair before. So I'm being a little bit cautious here to make sure that I can really preserve a good amount of that length working towards the front. But now that we have a good solid baseline and a guideline for the whole haircut, now as you can see, I'm being a little more kind of, you know, aggressive with it, because I go, okay, now I know how his hair is going to react. It's working out good. Let's continue. So let's just turn this way a little bit more. So now that we're working towards the front, again, I'm taking horizontal sections throughout the entire haircut, but I'm going to start to kind of over direct as we get back more towards the front, as we get more towards the front, because I want to maintain that length. And this is called over directing, which I've done many, many, many times. Combing everything straight up from the head. My elbows and my arms are kind of parallel with the sections that I'm cutting. And here's where the length starts to come in on top towards the front. Obviously, it's getting longer, and he had it that way, which I want to maintain that. But I did mention I wanted to kind of cut it and clean it up a little bit, just to make sure it's got kind of a little more volume in the front here, so it doesn't just kind of weigh everything down. So you could still keep the hair long, which we're doing, but you want to just make sure that, you know, it's all kind of working together and there's no unbalanced parts. So see how it just instantly kind of goes back a little bit more. But now we're not even just done with that. We still have to connect these corners. You can't forget the corners. And that is really what's going to help seal the deal with this haircut. Is cutting these corners here so that it can, you know, lay a little bit better and a little more voluminous right in through here, have a better flow to it. So now what I always do is I like to go back in now vertically, cutting this way, just to make sure that everything is properly balanced, going shorter to longer. And as I'm looking into the screen, I'm seeing everything is looking good. And now I can do this on the whole top of the head just to kind of cross-check and make sure everything is exactly how I want it. And this is really the foundation of the haircut, is to go back over and check. That is the difference between going in for a haircut for 15 minutes and going in for a haircut, you know, where someone like myself is going to take a lot more time and be a lot more thorough. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to continue cross-checking, making sure we're all good, and then we'll talk about how we're going to style it. All right, so the haircut is complete, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use Tidal Wave, which is my sea salt spray, which I've never spray it on Rory's hair because this is the first time I'm meeting him. But what do you think of that smell, bro? You smell that?
It smells good.
It smells like the Jersey Shore, doesn't it? Better than Jersey Shore, trust me. So I'm using it as a pre-styler just to kind of give a little bit of a nice base foundation for his hair. You can use just Tidal Wave because it does have a nice kind of light grit to it. But I'm going to dry it and then I'll probably end up finishing off with Talc. Now I'm going to use Talc, which is probably my number one selling product, one of my favorite products of all time. If there's like one product that I could, if I just needed this one to have in my line, it would be this. And I've never used it in his hair. He's never worked with it before ever, which I'm really sad about, man. You know what I mean? I'm sad about that. But I want to show you the instant results. So Tidal Wave gave a little bit of, nice kind of texture to it. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to dab this on. So you can dab it on, or you can squeeze out a couple of poofs just like that and work the product in. And what it's doing, it's great for his hair type. Now he came in with his hair, I'd say a little bit, a little dirty or so, because I guess, I don't know whether working out or whatever it is, but it was definitely a little more on the dirtier side. So what I'm doing now is I'm just literally working the product in. And the great thing is that it's literally soaking up those oils. So it's getting rid of that kind of dirty, oily type feel. But look at that. I mean, I just ran my fingers through it for a couple seconds and it's like already you got that texture, already you got that volume, and you can literally sculpt it, work it into place, do anything you want with it, and it's a really, really phenomenal product. So let's just kind of finish the style off here to where we both like it. I like a little more texture like that, which I think looks really cool. Let's spin you around this way. Looking good, looking good. Let's give it a little more volume and texture right here. And the great thing is you can literally go back in and kind of re-sculpt this and mold it however you want to, which I think looks great. And here we have the finished result. So again, to break down Rory's haircut is I basically used 4 zeros right in through here, then 3 zeros, 0A. I used a lot of clipper blades that go right just to this area right in through here. Then I went back in with the magic clips and again, just really refined everything in the front and the back. And then I connected this area right in through here to really kind of work the shape in going towards the head right in through here. And right back here is about, I'd say, 2 inches long, working all the way to about, I'd say 4.5 or so, or 5 inches long, right in the front. I used Tidal Wave when it was wet, blow dried it, and then used Talc to give it that really great texture and that very matte, pliable look. And here we have the finished result. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time for more videos with the Salon Guy.